Alright, so where do I even begin? We're going to talk about Manjaro, but not in the best light here. So, I hate to tell you this, but this is no more. Machine does work. It's barely holding itself together. That is not Manjaro's fault. That is, this machine was free, and it's just not going to be good enough to continue doing the distro challenge. I have a machine here I could use, but I have one coming as well, so hopefully that all works out. But for now, there's that. The biggest issue with this thing right now, Manjaro has Manjaro'd me, as it always has, and I'm going to go rant about Arch for a moment. So, I don't want to go on a super long video here, just letting you know the challenge is over. I'll pull up the machine here, but realistically, unless the machine right now is so messed up that I'm pretty sure KDE Plasma is primarily using X Wayland to do everything, including things that should be running through Wayland. I say that because I had to install Xorg to get the Wayland session to launch. Now you're saying, well, Joe, I thought you were running Sway. I thought that too. That hasn't worked out well. So here we are. We're at 73%, which is pretty good for this thing. And I have to choose the Wayland session because X11 won't log in for whatever reason. And you can see I have it running, except very little actually works. So I spent like 4 hours trying to diagnose Sway the other night, and what ended up happening, so yeah, this is, I have 13 days remaining on the challenge, and I can't even take a screenshot of this, so like, if that comes through, fantastic. If not, that's literally all I can give you. I can't take screenshots. I can't do like a lot of things. The Wayland part of things sort of works. The stuff that does run through Wayland seems to work. KWin hangs on shutdown for like forever. It's not good. And the problem is I had to install so many packages to get it installed that now a system update is 100% going to bork my system. I couldn't even update the last time I tried because of package conflicts, and it's all as a result of having the Sway edition on here, which was a very incomplete build. I will say, if you're going to use Manjaro for whatever godforsaken reason, do not, for the life of you, use a community build. Maybe some are better than others, but the Sway community build is just simply broken. It does not work, it's missing packages, and doesn't even function as a basic desktop. The other side of the thing is Manjaro, like Arch, compiles everything, or a lot of things, especially from the AUR, and I have an issue with that. It literally was baking this laptop to death because I was having to compile my fucking web browser. And I'm sorry, it's 2024, why am I compiling anything? And I get it, if you want to compile, compile. A lot of people love Gen 2 or love certain distributions that require that. I am not that person. I don't need that level of control on my system. I just want it to do what I tell it to do. I don't care if there's 10,000 packages installed. As long as my system works, it's irrelevant to me. So yeah, I installed KDE Plasma after Sway broke on this boy. Some of the config file, I even tried reloading it. I used a config from, for those of you that know Learn Linux TV, he did a video on configuring Debian Sway, which is kind of his new thing. And hey, more power to him. His default configs work great. I just think Sway is a steaming pile of garbage, because for whatever reason, you start making changes to that config file. What's wrong with it before I installed Plasma is it didn't recognize the mod key or the super key. Manjaro Sway config file. That's your frickin' mod key right there. It was set as it. I even changed to Control, to Alt. It decided the mod key was no longer a valid key to bind to. Which is a problem considering every key binding in Sway is mod plus something. So after about 4 hours of trying to figure that out off and on, I gave up. I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to install Plasma because KDE Plasma is something that you can, in fact, use. And, well, this gets into another tangent of mine. For whatever reason, installing KDE Plasma does not install Xorg or the Wayland session, which is not even called Wayland session anymore because Manjaro doesn't have a package that way. It's called something else, because of course it is. I had somebody tell me that the other day. It's literally not called Plasma Wayland session anymore. It's something else that makes no sense whatsoever. Because of course. So that's annoying. So I install KDE Plasma. It sets the X11 session by default when you install Plasma through Pacman. And I'm talking the way you're supposed to do it. I went out to their documentation and it doesn't work. Why? It tries to launch the X11 session and goes, shit, there's no Xorg. I can't launch. Kicks you back out to the SDDM screen. Maybe it should be a dependency, guys. Package your software correctly. That's honestly, that I'm going to be shitty about this one because that is just non-excusable. If your desktop environment requires a compositor, display, server, or anything like that, fucking make it a dependency. KDE Plasma devs, hello. Even if it's just Arch packaging it wrong. You need to have a display server for your fucking desktop to work, guys. Stop packaging it as a non-dependency. So I had to install X11, the entire Xorg stack, and then Xorg, the X11 session still didn't work for whatever reason, even after a reboot. So then I installed the Wayland session. Now here's the thing. The Wayland session, without Xorg installed, doesn't work on Plasma 5, on Manjaro. I don't know if it's an Arch thing or what, but that's what it does. So then I had to install the entirety of Xorg like I talked about, and then with Plasma Wayland reinstalled, I could launch the Wayland session, but things are not right. Something is not configured right. There's lag, there's a lot of issues. This laptop can 100% run Plasma. I ran it on OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, worked perfectly fine. Manjaro, disaster. I have a feeling about half the desktops running through X Wayland because something in the back end is broken. And so it's falling back to X Wayland over and over and over again, and the system's just unusable as a result. What does run on the Wayland part seems pretty smooth. I wish I could tell you what the rest of the Wayland experience is like, because this has really salted my myself about Wayland too. Sway had a lot of XGG portal errors by default. It's not configured correctly, and I would like to use a desktop that maybe isn't a pile of shit when it comes to Wayland. And right now, KDE Plasma, you're a piece of shit. Sorry. Sorry, guys. That's a controversial opinion. Plasma 5 is not good for Wayland. Some people will disagree with me, and you know what? More power to them. We were talking about this the other day on several Discord servers. You should always use what works for you. If for you that's a window manager, by all means. I literally installed Debian with Sway just to see if it was my Sway config. My config still didn't work because the latest updates on Sway have broken Sway and the Sway config files. So my config doesn't work. I pull down Jay's config from Learn Linux TV. It works perfectly fine, and then it just disassociated on an update the mod key, and then it just stopped working. And so I've wiped that laptop. It's got Mint XFCE on it, and I'm just going back to desktop environments for now. You might catch me doing a window manager and a VM or something for fun. It's not me, guys. I like things very simple. This was not simple. And I hate it because this at all was not informative. This was literally just you guys watching me go through a dumpster fire that is Manjaro. And it's sad. It really is. So we're going to take the L on Manjaro. I've got a list set up that is literally my ratings for these desktops and whatnot. OpenSUSE got a 7 from me. Zipper is not a very good package manager. It got knocked down for that. Otherwise, it would have been an 8 because that was a very good experience. This, it's getting a 2. If I haven't rated it a 2, I'm rating it a 2. Sorry, but that's 2 penguins of suffering and madness. You know, it's just... I get there are people that run Arch and have run it for years and are perfectly fine with it. Keep doing it. If it works for you, do it. I'm just not willing to tinker that much on my machine. On a spare machine, maybe something I don't mind reloading fairly regularly. But to actually fix everything that's wrong with Arch a lot of times requires a lot more effort than I'm willing to put in. You know, sorry to those people. And you know what's funny? There are 2 other Arch derivatives out here. We've got EndeavourOS and Arco Linux. And I want to bring these up because these are good Arch distros. These, to me, if you're going to be a distro of Arch, these are what you need to do. And EndeavourOS, in my opinion, is literally Arch with sane defaults. So it installs the correct packages to make sure everything works out of the box. The only thing they don't do is they don't ship a graphical package manager. I wish they just shipped like Octopi or something like that. I've used Endeavour in the past. In fact, it ran very smoothly on my Precision laptop that I had. I still do. It'll be editing this video shortly. And I ended up putting it back on Pop! OS because, my God, that's just a disaster in itself. So, but EndeavourOS is decent because it's providing Arch, but also a community to help you get along with Arch. I mean, the last time I went through and went to the Manjaro forums, it's just an RTFM forum. Like, it's gross how many forums I've come across that are just RTFM or this is your problem, not ours. Or you did this to yourself, figure it out. And then they close the issue. Like, it's gross how much I saw that. It's very rude and it's sad. And between that and them not renewing their certs, they treat their community like crap. I just can't recommend it. So EndeavourOS, good. Is actually decent. I want to do a challenge on it, but it wouldn't be much of a challenge because other than some Arch stupidness, it would be fine. My internet would suffer, but it would work. They even now ship the ISO with KDE Plasma, so I could give Plasma a fair shake. They probably even have Plasma 6 pretty soon. Arco Linux is not so much a distribution, but a learning experience. If you want to learn Arch, you want to learn Linux, Arco is where you go. Arco is great for that, and it'll teach you a lot about Linux. I do recommend it for that. But Manjaro, sorry, that's a fat no for me. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and say, you know, if you like the video, like the video. If you like some reason, if you like this deranged, off-the-rail content, let me know. Maybe we'll do some more, you know, first looks into some weird distributions and whatnot. But just, guys, Manjaro bad. Just say no to Manjaro, okay? Their theming is not bad. I had somebody say that to me. And I'm like, so install their themes. They're actually probably available on the AUR. And then there you go. You can have Green Arch. It would be better than Manjaro. So, cheers, guys. You guys have a great day.